1966, I graduated from Penn State and enlisted in the Army. I enlisted under the OCS program. OCS completion commissioned as a second lieutenant infantry. Part of the MACV training included the Defense Language Institute, which was located in Fort Bliss, Texas. At the completion of the Defense Language Institute training and the Fort Bragg Special Warfare School, I was off to Vietnam. Upon arrival in Song Bay with the 4th and the 9th Division, my specific job as an advisor was to act as a liaison between the American troops and the South Vietnamese ARVNs. My total group consisted of one sergeant, a master sergeant, who had been in the area since 1965, and now this is 68. I acted as a liaison with the American Air Force, the American artillery groups, other American infantry groups that were operating within the area. The ARVN commander himself was versed in English, but for all essential purposes, the rest of the ARVN battalion, which numbered around 1,200 men, were all didn't have any language background whatsoever in English. We would go out on daily operations out of our little fort headquarters group with around 900 of the 1,200 men, and providing security for the particular villages around and the chief city of Song Bay, Phuc Binh being one of those little hamlets. The differences between Americans units and the Vietnamese was the Vietnamese brought their families with them. So on an isolated fort like I was at in Song Bay, we would have the families with them, and their wives, their kids, their dogs, their chickens, and their cows, and the rest of it came with it. And they would house them out in the actual perimeter of the fort, where the firing ports for the protection of the fort would be out the front and out the back. You can see the little patios they have them built for where they would wash clothes, and the kids would run around, and the dogs and everything else would be playing like it was in the backyard of your own home. One such mission we went out on, we were in a single file type with 900 guys in a single file, if you can picture that, across a mountain ridge. And every so often the file would stop, and first thing I learned is, being like a foot and a half taller than anybody else, I would sit down. In terms of the taller individuals were more subject to getting hit with the fire when it happened. Anyhow, this particular mission I'm talking about, we're walking in a single file across a ridge line. And as I found out later, there was an NVA battalion coming across in the same direction parallel to us in the lower parts of the off the mountain, and their desire was to get onto the other side of the mountain where we were on top of. And what they did was they did in effect a left movement, and they came charged up over the top of the mountain, and lo and behold, we're standing on top of it. And they charged through my battalion and in effect decimated it, and went down to the other side and off into Cambodia. As a result of that particular action of them coming back across the top of and decimating my battalion, the headquarters groups lined up just by accident, and with the firefight that ensued, I pulled out the battalion flag of the NVA at that time, which was one of my mementos that I brought back with me, one of only two that have survived.